This is Umar for BoxNation, and we're at Frank Warren's one of his favourite restaurants, Milo's on Regent Street, central London. You love it here, Frank, don't you?
Yeah, it's not, well, we can get everybody in here, can't we? We've got quite a few people here today from the press, so it's got a good private room.
Some of the best seafood in London as well.
It's lovely seafood, yeah.
And it's great we're here because we're here to announce something major. Last night you announced a historic global media rights deal with DAZN, multi-year. This is absolutely huge for Queensberry, Frank, because this takes your stable, your business to a global market.
That's correct, and that's one of the reasons we've done it. You know, I had meetings with everybody concerned. Over the last, I think it's about the last 18 months, they brought in more people who, and a lot of people I know within the world of broadcasting and sport, and they've got a great team together. I mean, a real good team, and I'm delighted to be moving forward. You know, I can remember saying a couple of years ago when we was at it with Eddie and myself about it's an app and all that, but the team they brought together now are really good, and this is definitely going to get bigger and bigger.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. And also, with having met Solen, had dinner with him, lunch with him, breakfast with him. We've had quite a few meetings, and his vision as well has convinced me this is the right thing to do.
Before we get stuck into this DAZN deal more, which has been incredible for both parties, and I'm sure it'll work out like that, just want to point out, over the last, 7 or 8 years with TNT, BT previously, what a run you had, starting with BoxNation and BT Jewellery, and some of the memories that you gave boxing fans. That was an incredible run with them.
It was, and there was some great memories for me, and they were great teams, some great people there over the period of time we were there. You know, Simon Green, a lot of them there who we worked with were just really, really good people. And, they were, a really, really, they're a really good team. They're a really great bunch of people, but, we are where we are, and we move on in April. We've still got some shows on there up until March, really good shows, by the way. And in some ways it'd be sad to go, but, I've done this before, it's happened before in our time, and but I wish everybody there who we work with the very, very best, and it was a pleasure to work with them.
Yeah, we're lucky in this country to have some great platforms with TNT and Sky, but the noticeable difference with DAZN, I find, and I'm sure this is why this attracted you to them as well, is the commitment they have to the sport of boxing.
Well, that is it, and that is important for us. There'll be more dates for us. We'll be doing more dates. The platform and the commitment to boxing is unbelievable. And when you sit down and listen to the people, at the top, like, you talk to Shay, you're talking to Ed, you talk to Pete, Mike Ridout's now on board from IMG. You talk to all these guys, they are so absolutely, on this, so focused to what they're trying to achieve. And I believe it will be achievable. Their numbers have got bigger and bigger. They're getting more and more subscribers. It's just been it's a delight for us. And George, our CEO, my son, he's the one who put most of this together, to be quite honest. And this is the way forward for our boxers as well. We've probably got I generally do believe we've got the best talent under the Queensberry umbrella than any promoters in the world now. We have a fabulous bunch of fighters or group of fighters, and I'm looking forward to the big fights that we're going to get them involved with.
Frank, yeah, especially in the UK market, the fighters that you've developed, your likes of Nick Ball, Hamza Shiraz, Daniel Dubois, I could go on and on, Dennis McCann.
Yeah.
But with this DAZN deal, a global platform, they've got a big subscriber base in America and internationally.
Yeah.
Queensberry now becomes an even more attractive proposition for international fighters. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, and we'll be doing fights overseas. We are going to expand and do shows overseas. And I think the other thing is that with the fighters that we've got, and we've signed up a raft of young fighters as well, which again, I love that part of the journey. With the guys working with the younger fighters and bringing them through. It's gonna be sensational. This is a long-term deal. There's a lot of commitment from both sides. We're committed to them. They're committed to us. We're also on board with Matchroom are on there with Eddie's company. You got Golden Boy on this, so it's going to be easier as well for us to make fights between the companies. Some of the fights will be fabulous events.
Sure. And your fighters, especially your top fighters, the likes of Dubois, Shiraz, even Tyson, what's the feedback been from them about this deal with DAZN?
Well, I'll be honest, I haven't spoken too much, but Tyson's the Riyadh season fights are all been on DAZN anyway. So, and Tyson's been boxing out there, as has Hamza. So they'll be happy with that. Everybody should be happy because we're going to from our end, this is going to work for Queensberry. And if it works for Queensberry, it's certainly going to work for the fighters who work with us. Over the years, I've gone from, being told. I remember going from when I first got in boxing, there was only BBC, then ITV. We got them on board, and ITV at that time, everybody said, they're not really into it. But look what they built, and look what we built with ITV. We built a tremendous platform and started live boxing, because before then everything was done on a 24-hour delay. People were anti that. Don't have live boxing, you won't sell tickets. Don't have boxing on Saturday nights. We started doing, as well as the weekday shows, the Saturday night shows. That evolved. I can remember being involved in the closed circuit business with Satellite Express with Jeff Petts back then, and bringing fights in. When we went to Sky, we did the first pay-per-view, and when we went to Sky, that won't work. You're never going to be able to build a fighter on there. Look at Ricky Hatton.
Yeah.
And what happened? We built lots and lots of fighters. Satanta, we went there, delivered them their biggest audiences. Then we obviously BoxNation. That really got off the ground at one stage until obviously we did the exclusive deal with BT, who had no involvement in boxing whatsoever. And again, look at the platform we did, and as you said, the last 7 years, the fights and the fighters that have come through. I mean, look at the heavyweight division. We said we would be major in the heavyweight division, and we certainly are. And I look at this now and I just think to myself, this is another challenge for us to show what we can do, what we can add to DAZN, and what DAZN can add to us. And it's going to work brilliantly for us. And if it works for us and the fans, which I know it's going to, for us and DAZN, it's going to work for the fans.
Absolutely. I know you're not scared to make big moves in your career. You've done that, as you've just highlighted there. With BoxNation, DAZN are a multi-sport platform, but really in the UK, their key focus at the moment, luckily for us, is boxing. You obviously broke boundaries and went with, created BoxNation. Where did that get to in terms of subscriber base? How big did that get to, a solely boxing platform?
What?
In terms of BoxNation before, how many?
Well, we done well. We did when we did the H. Zora fight. We got 300,000 people watched that, buys on that. It was there, but we made a decision at the end of the day, and our decision was there was an opportunity for us as a business, as a Queensberry business, to move to BT as it was then, and they made us a great offer, and that's what we did. We made that decision, but we were maybe a bit before we were a little bit before our time. But you look at the good fights that were on it. Look where we are. Look where we are now with DAZN. Look at the fights that they're putting on from around the world, and look what is going to happen in the UK. I mean, we promote some of the best shows that have taken place in the UK, big blockbusting shows, and we'll be doing more shows. There'll be more dates.
With Riyadh season and his excellency, it's been clear to see that he's a big believer in DAZN. He likes DAZN, so I'm sure he's absolutely delighted that yourself and Queensberry are on board. Well,
Riyadh, they've done the deal with DAZN Riyadh season. That's the commitment. So this is all a no-brainer. As far as boxing's concerned, it's a no-brainer. When we started off BoxNation, that was the dream, to have this boxing channel. Well, we got DAZN, which they are multi-sport. We know that. So, they Italian football league, La Liga, is on DAZN in Italy and so forth. They've got around the world. I'm not going to go through the big list of things, but the most important thing is they are in boxing big time. They're believers in it. And when the names I mentioned earlier, the people who are running the company, the man who's funding the company, they are believers in our sport, and that for me is important. And I'm really, really delighted where we're at. And this will just get bigger and bigger. There's no doubt about it.
Saw in the press release yesterday from Queensberry, actually, it said DAZN's aim next year and moving forward is 150 premium fight nights per year with yourself, Matchroom and Golden Boy, and also the small all fights they do on DAZN. But if you're a boxing fan, it's a no-brainer.
Well, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? I mean, that's three a week. How bad is that? You know, and that's what it's all about. That's the belief in this. There is belief. There's a massive boxing audience. Look how many people are at Wembley. Look what a massive event that was at Wembley, the last Wembley show, and the Wembley show before that. It's there, and you look at the youngsters we're bringing through, the audiences we're getting for those. You know, boxing's on a high in this country, and as a nation, we've got some of the best fighters in the world, some of the best youngsters, and Queensberry, I do believe, has the best stable of fighters in the world.
Okay. Well, I just want to talk about a couple of those guys before we close off and get to our lunch, Frank. Now we've had a couple of days since Liam Davis's loss. What are your sort of post-fight reflections, and how's Liam doing?
Well, he's very disappointed, and so he should be. You know, he suggested he might have a problem at the weight. I don't know about that. I've got to talk further to him about that. But his tactics were totally wrong. You know, he was loading himself up and looking for a big punch. It was a really exciting fight. There's no doubt about that. It takes two to make a fight that. And Shabazz done extremely well. But he was winding himself up. I'm looking what he did wrong. I'm not saying if it, you know, I think if he'd have fought a different fight, if he'd have worked his way in, worked behind his jab, some more head movement again. It's all basic stuff. And he just wasn't doing that. He was loading up and he was looking to land those shots, and he got it wrong at times.
Was he all right at the weight on Thursday? He didn't look great.
Well, I mean, that's another. He said that to me immediately after the fight. He said that he said, I'm not looking for excuses, but I don't want to be disrespectful to Shabazz, because he's done a brilliant job, and I'm not going to be respectful. But I've got to look at what that wasn't a Liam that I normally see in a fight. And I don't think anybody. I mean, he's done brilliantly up to us yet, and it just wasn't him. It was a close fight. I thought he won it by 3 rounds. Yeah, I thought he won it by 3 rounds. Yeah, it was. I mean, you know, there was the judges. One of the judges got it wrong. There's no doubt about it. But it wasn't. We sat there from the beginning, and I was sitting next to Frank Smith, and we were pretty much at the same of where the scoring was going, how we see it, you know, how both of us. And how'd you get that? Who got that one? And we was like, so there were some close rounds there, and you know, I get it. And people obviously say, oh, you would say it, but there was, and he was dangerous all the way through it, Liam. But he was looking for a big punch. He was looking for a big, and you shouldn't be doing that in a fight. You're looking to break your man down, work behind your jab, work your way, and get your distance. You know, plenty of head movement, and it wasn't happening for it.
Lastly, Daniel Dubois, Joseph Parker's calling him out. I'm sure there's plenty of people wanting.
There's loads
of
people calling him out. You know, they all want a shot at it, and we'll make our decision, I hope, sometime by the end of the week. There's a couple of things that we're looking at, and one of them's quite interesting, and we'll see where that goes.
Well, Frank Warren, appreciate your time here in central London. Again, congratulations to yourself,
Thank you.
Everyone at DAZN, and your son George, who's been instrumental.
Yeah, he was.
It's a landmark deal, and we look forward to April 21st, 2025, where it all kicks off.
We do, but in the meantime, we've got some good shows still to come up on TNT.
Absolutely.
Let's not forget them. A great show at Wembley coming up.
Mag 7, December 7th, that is.
Lovely.
Perfect.
Cheers, mate.